Hello guys, and welcome back for another video. In this video we are looking at how one of our favorite women tennis players battle against a tough opponent to win her comeback match at Montreal Open in Canada. It's the one and only Coco Gauff, and yes, she is back with a vengeance, so without no further ado, let's dive right in. The air in Montreal was thick with anticipation on this Wednesday, the 30th of July 2025. All eyes were on Coco Gauff. This was her grand return to the court. Her first match since that historic, glorious victory at Roland Garros. The weight of being a new Grand Slam champion rested on her young shoulders. Fans were eager to see if the magic of Paris had travelled with her across the Atlantic. The Canadian Open is a prestigious tournament in its own right, a crucial stop on the tour. But for Gauff, this opening match felt like something more. It was a test of her new status, a first chapter in the story of her reign. She had deliberately taken time off, skipping the City Open for a dedicated training block, sharpening her skills and preparing her mind for the hard court season ahead. Her opponent was no easy welcome mat. Danielle Collins, a fierce American compatriot, stood across the net. Collins is known for her powerful ground strokes and her relentless competitive spirit. This was their first ever professional encounter, adding a layer of unpredictability to an already charged atmosphere. The stakes were incredibly high for Gauff. A strong performance would affirm her place at the top. A stumble, however, could invite questions and plant seeds of doubt. Every player in the locker room knows that the match after a major win is one of the toughest psychological hurdles to clear. The world is watching, expecting perfection, and the pressure is immense. The crowd buzzed, a mix of excitement for Gauff's return and respect for Collins's tenacity. The stage was set for a classic encounter, a clash of styles and generations under the Canadian lights. Gauff, the young champion, sought to prove her French Open title was not a fluke, but the beginning of an era. Collins, the veteran warrior, was determined to play the spoiler and remind everyone of her own formidable presence on the tour. She had already battled through a tough first-round match, finding her rhythm on these courts. For nearly 3 hours, what unfolded was not just a tennis match, but a drama filled with grit, frustration, and breathtaking resilience. This was more than just a second-round fixture. It was a statement of intent. For Gauff, it was about managing expectations, both her own and those of the entire tennis world. She stepped onto the court not just as Coco Gauff, the talented teenager, but as Coco Gauff, the French Open champion. That title brings with it a different kind of pressure, a target on your back that every other player is aiming for. The match against Collins was the first test of how she would carry that new burden. It was a challenge she had prepared for physically, but the mental and emotional test would prove to be the most demanding part of the contest. The match quickly evolved into a grueling, nerve-shredding affair. It was a contest that stretched for 2 hours and 55 minutes, a true test of endurance for both athletes. Gauff's game, usually a model of consistency and power, was plagued by an uncharacteristic and staggering number of errors. The statistics told a shocking story. 23 double faults flew from her racket. It was a constant battle, not just against Collins, but against her own serve. Each time she stepped up to the line for her second serve, a collective breath was held by the crowd. This struggle gave Collins numerous opportunities to break and seize control of the match, keeping the scoreline incredibly tight. The intensity was palpable, and it wasn't just Gauff feeling the pressure. In the second set, with the score tied at 1 game apiece, Danielle Collins' frustration boiled over. After an error, she slammed her racket hard against the court surface. A clear display of the immense effort and emotion she was pouring into every single point. It was a moment that showed just how much this match meant to both players. They were locked in a fierce battle of wills, each refusing to give an inch, pushing the other to their absolute physical and mental limits. Neither player could establish a comfortable lead, as momentum swung back and forth like a pendulum. As the third and final set wore on, the tension reached its peak. Gauff found herself staring defeat in the face. At a critical juncture, she was just 2 points away from losing the match. For many players, this would have been the breaking point. The mountain of double faults, the relentless pressure from Collins, and the sheer exhaustion could have easily led to a collapse. But this is where Coco Gauff is different. Instead of succumbing to the pressure, she dug deep, finding a reserve of strength that few possess. It was in this precarious moment, on the very brink of an early exit, that her champion's mentality truly shone through. Somehow, Gauff managed to flip a switch. She stared down the deficit and began to fight back with renewed purpose. She won 9 of the final 11 points of the match, a stunning turnaround that left the crowd in awe. She clawed her way into a decisive tiebreak, and once there, she dominated. The final score, 7-5, 4-6, 7-6, reflected the seesaw nature of the contest. It was a victory snatched from the jaws of defeat, a messy, imperfect, yet incredibly significant win. It wasn't pretty, but it was a testament to her unyielding spirit and her refusal to lose. In the aftermath of such a draining battle, there was no animosity, only a profound sense of mutual respect. Gauff was quick to praise her opponent, highlighting a relationship that goes beyond the court. Danielle is a tough competitor, a great tennis player, a great person, she shared, revealing that they had got to know each other well at the United Cup. This acknowledgement speaks volumes about the camaraderie that can exist even between the fiercest of rivals. Gauff understands that to beat a player like Collins, you have to be at your best, and she respected the challenge Collins presented. It was a duel fought with intensity, but concluded with grace. Despite securing the hard-fought victory, Gauff's immediate reaction was one of raw honesty and self-criticism. She didn't hide her disappointment in her own performance. Frustrating was the word she used to describe the match. She openly admitted that the player she had been in her recent training block was not the one who showed up on the court against Collins. This kind of candid self-assessment is a hallmark of a true champion. She wasn't simply content with the win. She was already analyzing her shortcomings and thinking about how to improve for the next round. It is this relentless pursuit of perfection that separates the good players from the great ones. Gauff's frustration was a sign of her high standards. She knows she is capable of playing much better tennis, and the 23 double faults were a clear source of annoyance. However, she also demonstrated a mature ability to find the silver lining. In her post-match comments, she managed to pull a positive from the difficult experience. Danielle is a great ball striker, and for me to break her as many times as I did, there's definitely some positives to take from today, she reflected. This shows an ability to maintain perspective, to learn from a tough day at the office without letting it derail her confidence entirely. This blend of frustration and optimism is what makes Gauff so compelling. She is not a robot, she is a human who feels the pressure and gets annoyed with her own mistakes. Her hope, as she put it, was that she got her bad match of the tournament out of the way early. This sentiment is relatable to any athlete who has had to grind out a victory on an off day. It's a win that builds character, teaching lessons that an easy, straight sets victory never could. It reinforces the idea that sometimes you just have to find a way to survive and advance, even when you are far from your best. This epic win over Danielle Collins was not an isolated incident. It was another chapter in the growing legend of Coco Gauff, the comeback queen. She has cultivated a reputation for being one of the most resilient fighters on the tour, a player who is never truly beaten until the final point is won. Fans have seen this movie before. They remember her incredible fight back against Qin Wen-zheng at the previous year's WTA finals, where she rallied from being down 5-3 in the deciding set. They also recall another nail-biting 3-set thriller against Zheng at the Italian Open earlier in 2025, which she also won in a final set tiebreak. This pattern is no coincidence. Gauff possesses a rare mental fortitude. When the pressure is at its highest and the odds are stacked against her, she finds another gear. This victory, coming in her first match as a French Open champion, is arguably one of her most important yet. It proved that her new status has not made her complacent. If anything, it seems to have strengthened her resolve. Winning ugly, as they say, is a skill in itself. It demonstrates a deep well of self-belief and a tactical mind. that can adapt and find solutions even when the primary weapons, like her serve, are misfiring so badly. This particular victory serves as a powerful message to the rest of the players in the draw. It tells them that even when Gauff is vulnerable, even when she is gifting points away, she is still incredibly dangerous. To beat her, you have to play flawlessly until the very end, because she will give you nothing. This win will likely do more for her confidence than a simple, straightforward victory would have. It reinforces the knowledge that she can rely on her fighting spirit to carry her through the toughest moments, a crucial asset as she navigates the rest of this tournament and the remainder of the season. Looking ahead, Gauff's journey in Montreal does not get any easier. Her next opponent is the formidable Veronika Kudermetova, a former world number 9. While Gauff leads their head-to-head record 2-1, she knows she cannot afford another performance riddled with so many errors. This grueling match against Collins will serve as both a wake-up call and a source of strength. She has shaken off the rust of her break, survived a massive scare, and emerged victorious. She has been tested and not found wanting. Now, with the bad match hopefully behind her, Coco Gauff moves forward, battle-hardened and ready for whatever comes next. Huge congratulations to her, and we wish her the best of luck in her next game. We can't wait to see how she gets on. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and like and share this video to help the channel grow. Thank you, and see you in the next one.